trouble overseas. A UK judge just ordered the 36-year-old to stay in British custody on a charge of causing grievous bodily harm. He's accused of attacking a music producer in a London nightclub. Let's bring in ABC's Lama Hassan in London for more. Lama, what's the latest on these charges against Chris Brown?
Yeah, hey Diane, what we know is that Chris Brown was arrested in the early hours of Thursday morning at his hotel in Manchester in northern England. The Metropolitan Police released a statement late last night saying that after an investigation by detectives, they're charging him with, as you said, grievous bodily harm with intent. Now, this charge relates to an alleged assault that dates back to February 2023 after he allegedly attacked a music producer with a bottle at a nightclub in London. It was described as an unprovoked attack in which the producer was struck several times with a bottle. Brown then allegedly pursued him to another area of the nightclub where the victim was punched and kicked repeatedly. Now, in the hearing today, which lasted about 30 minutes, bail was denied, the judge saying that the offense was a serious one and she reportedly deemed him a flight risk, even though his lawyer tried to argue that he's a public figure and he's followed by photographers, and so essentially his every move would be well documented. Now, in terms of what happens next, the judge ordered him to appear at Southwark Crown Court here in London on June 13th, which means that he remains in custody until then. And just a reminder, Diane, that Brown was meant to be kicking off his tour on June 8th. Diane?
All right, Lama Hassan, thank you.
Oh man, Chris Brown, bro.
Man, that's crazy, man. Stuff that happened 2 years ago came right back to haunt him. So go ahead, man, Roddy, man. This is crazy. But what's your take on it?
This is not even crazy. This is major because ain't Chris Brown still on tour? So that ain't he still on tour? So I think his tour is canceled until he get this resolved. And I know in the back of his, I know he kicking himself in the back of his head, said, "Man, I made a terrible mistake." Because keeping in mind, his tour. Remember, his tour is where most artists make their money is off their tours. So him being paused right now to deal with this allegations, I know his mind's like, what? But these artists gotta be careful. When you're in these foreign lands, you just can't do whatever you want to do because their laws and their rules and regulation would get you into some serious trouble to the point that you in there for a very long time. Look what happened with Andrew Tate. You saw what happened with him. He was in Romania for a very long time. So you got to be careful, man. Hopefully Chris Brown overcome this. Hopefully he's able to settle this in court so you won't have to prolong this because he's actually on tour. But I think his lawyer team is probably working there like, hey, they'll find some form of settlement. Go right ahead, Akeem. Your thoughts.
Yeah, you're 100% right. I do think that you got to respect people's sovereignty and their lands and the laws. The way you can beat up on paparazzi in America, you can't do that in the UK. And I think, I mean, people got to understand something, but he's not the first nor the last recording artist that hasn't been to either UK, Canada, and started some type of mess or try to exercise their American rights. You know what I mean? The difference is I could see him getting banned from the UK like they banned people from Canada. Remember, it took Snoop Dogg almost 20 years to get back into the UK.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. That's a good point on there, Hakeem. Yeah, man. It's just I mean, I remember hearing this about this before about this certain situation happened on TMZ, but I thought it will go to an extreme that now that he went back, he got arrested and everything. But when it comes to other countries, they might take stuff a little bit more seriously than America does. America doing everything. You got to watch out for that. I mean, I'm sad to see Chris Brown, get arrested at the time that his tour is going to start. So, for what I'm seeing right now, it comes by his tour cancellations. So right now they feel like the shows that he's going to perform before the 13th, he definitely probably have to cancel and everything. And hopefully, he can, when it comes to his next court date in June, he get out as possible and still start his tour dates because he has because it's not just him on tour, he has other people that's in his tour too. I think it's Bryson Tiller or somebody else as well that's gonna be in the tour. So isn't he not just messing up his money? He messes up other artists' money that's toured with him as well. So I know Chris Brown's feeling terrible about that. That this has come up and he can't tour yet until he gets out and everything. So this Chris Brown, he's been doing better and everything about being out of jail and everything, trying to be out of that life. But he just gotta be more aware, more prepared, and keep practicing self-control, so situations like this won't happen. But yeah, I just hope that he gets out eventually and he gets back on tour and he can, celebrate all his fans and everything.